It came in without us knowing it. There's a few neighbors seen something's going on in that land, and somebody said the land is sold.
I sometimes compare it to the movement of settlement into this place that was occupied by Aboriginal people.
So that spraying was going on all day and way into the night. Well, that smell was just unbelievable. I would never want to go through that again.
And it was all going to be good for them, and they were all going to prosper thereafter. And that's the same promises that were made to us.
And then I had to have a triple bypass. And if I lived there and still smelling this and throwing up, I was scared.
Hog production has always been part of agriculture, always will be, was suddenly taken away from farming. Because we're not talking farming anymore. We're talking corporations seeking a place to produce hogs in factories.
No, I would have liked to stay in a farm. I like the farm. But what are you going to do?
Yeah.
The pig industry in particular has some pretty horrific practices that are daily and routine in nature, and the industry knows that if the public should learn about these practices, pork consumption is going to go down.
You're here as an indentured worker on a year's worker's permit. You have to work for that employer, and if you don't comply with the employer's demands, then you'll be out of a job and you'll have to go back to where you come from.
The big issue with the pork industry, of course, before they came along, it was clearly identified we have problems in surface waters in Manitoba. I mean, these algal blooms and everything else were happening, since I've been here. But you add, 8-9 million pigs on top of that, and that's the killer blow.
There are many, many viruses that can be transmitted from hogs to people, and we know that experimentally hogs can even be infected with BSE, with prions. There are many helminthic parasites, nematodes, and flatworms. You have the pharmaceuticals, the vaccines that are in the waste. You have the heavy metals. One way or another, this ends up in the environment.
They knew about the problems back in the 90s when they started the expansion, and they didn't do anything about it because they wanted it. They wanted the expansion. And they didn't care if they sacrificed family farmers for it. They didn't care if they sacrificed rural people for it.
Manitoba has behaved like a third world republic. When your key civil servants in charge of regulating the industry retire and then go work for the industry, that's a third world political situation.
We have to each act as if what we do matters, because it does. And so where you buy your meat from really counts.
If you had 10 farms in the community raising those pigs like this, instead of one company in the community doing it, the benefits are enormous. The benefits just to the farming community, but also to the local co-op, the local vet, the local everything. Whereas these big outfits, they don't support anything,
It's a rough climb up, but I do see a future in it. People have to become more connected to their food and care what they're consuming, and care about what the animal has been put through before it got to their plate.